love read-alouds. It's become a really special time of day for me and my class. So in this episode of Classroom Quick Tips, I'm going to give you my tips for all the different ways you can purposefully use read-alouds in your classroom. I'm extra excited about this one. Tip number 1, reinforce reading strategies. Making predictions, connections, inferences, summarizing, visualizing, asking questions. These are all reading strategies we do naturally as fluent readers that students need to see modeled to reinforce these habits when they're reading their independent reading books. I suggest not bouncing around too much on strategies from day to day, especially in the lower grades or at the beginning of the year. Reinforce one strategy over multiple days, and that way students can really master one reading strategy at a time.
You know what, boys and girls? I have to make a connection. This reminds me of my Aunt Myrtle. She hated me, just like they hated poor James. Come to think of it, she still does. What a witch.
Tip number 2, citizenship and character building. Read-alouds are a great way to reinforce citizenship skills and character traits that we want our students to possess. At the beginning of the year, this definitely comes in handy to support any citizenship system you have in place in your classroom or at your school. After reading your book, you can have great conversations or community circle discussions relating the book to how we can demonstrate this character trait at school and home.
Think in your head, how do we not get a bad case of the tattled tongue?
Tip number 3, building prior knowledge. Sometimes before diving into a brand new topic in science or social studies, I find that using a read-aloud is a great introduction to the class. It allows them to build some prior knowledge about key ideas, historical figures, or content-specific vocabulary that will come in handy when the new content is being introduced.
All volcanoes are driven by gas. So gassy.
Tip number 4, modeling fluency skills. The best way to show students great fluency skills is modeling through your read-alouds. You can show expression, smoothness, pacing, phrasing, all by doing a read-aloud. Draw attention to the choices you make as you read. Show a bad example of how the text would sound if you read it with no expression. This way, students can develop an ear for how fluent reading should sound.
Listen, class, to how I use expression to make this character seem extra mean. Completely ridiculous, sneered Mr. Booth. Please stop wasting our time and just stick to the truth. Wasn't I mean?
Tip number 5, listening comprehension. Listening comprehension is a skill that needs to be practiced, and what better way to do it than through a read-aloud book? It's best if you prepare the questions ahead of time. I simply jot down some questions on a Post-it note, stick it on that page so I know the best parts to pause and engage my class. This is also a great opportunity for some turn and talk time. Sometimes students can get restless during a read-aloud, especially the K-1 students. So strategically pause throughout your read-aloud and prepare comprehension questions that students can discuss.
Okay, class, turn and talk. What text evidence shows us that the chocolate cake is probably unsanitary?
I hope this helps you to incorporate more read-alouds into your week. It really is my favorite time of day. Please let me know if you have a favorite read-aloud that you love reading to your class. I'm Beth Cunningham Murray, and if you enjoyed this episode of Classroom Quick Tips, I'd greatly appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up. It means so much. And if you'd like to stay up to date on all the new episodes every week, please subscribe and ring that bell. Thank you so much for watching.